This is the second attempt to go live. My internet disappeared. It looked like I came back online, but I don't think anyone could hear or see me. So when the internet broke down, I had Julia and Jasmine on my list. So let's hope that they will see that again. If you guys are here, Julia, Jasmine, you are on my list, so I'm happy to do a reading for you. Julia, yay! Okay, Julia is back. Jasmine is here. Awesome. Jasmine, what is your hometown? Birth town, sorry. Because I still have your chart pulled up. And then I'll do Julia first and then Jasmine second. Mona, if you'd like me to answer your question, these are donation-based readings. Suggested amount is $25. Pay what you can based on how much you can afford. Okay. Patrice, I do still have an opening. Yes, I'm planning to be live for about an hour, so I definitely can take more than 2 people. Okay, so let's see. About to look at Julia's question. So, Julia, your question was just generally what's coming up for you, right? In love, I think you said. Home within me, yes, you can definitely get on the list. I can take probably at least 2 or 3 more people, and then I am going to close the list because I have to pack. I have to do everything in the last moment. So, Julia, what is in my chart for love? So generally or in the future? And for those of you who want to get on the list, if you want to be the 2-3 people that I still can take, I do ask for a donation. As mentioned, there are links in the description and in the pinned comment. Crystal, I would like to know about my mom, if possible. Will you need mine or hers? Well, if you're asking a question about her, then I would need her date, time, and place of birth, ideally. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And Julia, do let me know if this is like generally about love or future-wise about love, because that would be helpful. And also do confirm that this is the right chart for you. Virgo Sun, Aries Moon, Libra Rising. Oh, commitment with your partner for the next months. Okay. Okay. So you have the moon, ruler of your 7th house is Mars in Capricorn. So you have an exalted ruler of the house of relationships. You also have North Node here, which often suggests some delays, right? But also makes this an important point of learning. You also have the moon here. So I think like relationships in which you find a certain level of independence and express your emotions, maybe even attracting people who are nurturing but kind of independent and masculine and straightforward. So what's pretty is, I mean, it's like it's a tricky thing is that Saturn has entered your 7th house, and Saturn pressure tests the areas of the chart. So when it's in the 7th house of relationships, it raises important questions. It's asking you like, okay, if the relationship is complicated for some reason, or if things, like what is the next step? It might quite often Saturn in the 7th house presents a challenge to a couple. Maybe a partner is going through a job change, or they lost a family member. They're going through some kind of an important event, and that either brings you closer or it maybe takes you apart. So I think Saturn could be a sign of commitment. It can definitely be a sign that there is potentially a commitment in a relationship. In terms of when this might solidify, when might become, when will this partnership become sort of official? When do you get married? So let me just look at the transits in terms of if there is anything interesting that jumps at me. Okay, so let me see. There's Stephanie And there's Patrice on my list, and I can take one more person and then I'm going to wrap it up. So if anyone else wants to join, do let me know. Otherwise, I will close the list. And sorry, Julie, I'll be right with you. Just want to make sure I'm updating everything. And I appreciate the donations. Thank you so much. Like I said, for the suggested amount is 25, but pay what you can based on how much you can afford. Celine says, I paid for a live reading today. Celine, what name should I see your payment under? Because I am not currently seeing it. And so, okay, I'm taking one more person and then I am going to, okay, Crystal, I forgot to mention this. I do ask people to send donations through the link instead of sending it through YouTube, because through YouTube, it gets like taxed by YouTube and everything. I will add you to my list, but just for the future, please use the payment link in the description and in the comments. Okay, list is closed officially. And for anyone who wants to get a full-size reading, or if you want to study with me, visit my website, sign up for my course, or book a full-size reading. You know, that's always awesome. Okay, Crystal. And let's see. So the list is closed for now, but if there is somebody else who, you know, who jumps on it later on, and if like somebody is really interested and I have time, I might potentially open it for one more person. Okay, so Julia says, we did have a conversation last week. He did open up. We're going through career changes at the moment. Things are kind of up in the air. So it's good that he opened up, and it's good that you're getting close and honest with each other. That's always helpful. I do think the commitment is for sure possible. Crystal, I don't think I'll be able to answer the question on whether your mom was murdered. That's like a little bit outside of my astrological range. You might consider asking a tarot person, because I don't think I'll be able to say it with like confidence, and I don't want to give you information that is incorrect. So if you wanted to ask a different question, it could be about your mom or about yourself. That would potentially be lovely. Okay, so Julia, you says he's a Virgo rising. Okay, that's interesting. So did you go through a more difficult period in your life between March 2023 and now, with Saturn being in his 7th house of relationships? Because it seems like Saturn was in his 7th house of relationships, and your relationship maybe was going through some kind of period of growth, and maybe there were some complications based on you transforming. And now it's almost flipped, and now it's like maybe he's going through some things and your relationship continues to strengthen through those experiences potentially. But I think Saturn for you in the 7th can definitely symbolize commitment. In terms of when will it happen, I am looking at the important transits. So Jupiter is opposite your Mars right now on August 3rd. So, okay, that's interesting, because there is kind of a desire maybe for like emotional action in opposition to a more rational and practical, pragmatic Mars. So a bit of tension between like, do we grow or do we hold back and like think of it rationally? You have there's definitely some friction, I think, with sorry. Okay, you're saying, yes, we have been growing, me first, now him. Yeah, Saturn in the 7th is an interesting, because it brings up a lot of important questions. And if the relationship has been through a lot and if it has matured, it can definitely be the time that you make things official and you get married. But yeah, there's currently a lot of, I think maybe you're looking for balance and maybe you're trying to figure out the future because Jupiter is in Cancer and Cancer is a very like growth and nurturance and emotional maturity and family oriented sign, whatever it means for people. Family is not always biological family. There is some good. Jupiter is conjoining your midheaven. In November, it's conjunct your midheaven. Uranus is also squaring your sun, which is interesting. So Uranus squares your sun for the first time July 12th. Did anything happen in July? And then again in October, November, exact 30th. So considering there is this shake your identity, and in November, there is another one together with Jupiter on the midheaven. So at the top of your chart, Jupiter is kind of looking at your future. I wonder if that's maybe when things will happen, because for him, for your partner, between September 1st and February next year, Saturn will return into his 7th house. So that might be the time when he decides to sort of take a step and make things official, I think. This year, July. So this July and again in October, November. And that's why I think it's most likely going to happen. It looks like October, November are potentially good months for like future commitment. The friction, you're asking how long will the friction last for? And that specifically comes from Jupiter opposite your Mars, from Jupiter squaring your moon. Jupiterian friction is not necessarily bad kind of friction. It looks like it might get less kind of, things might start coming down in October, late October. But even this kind of friction, I think it's just a sign that there is some adjustments that need to happen, because you have you have Aries, which needs independent, you have Mars independence, you have the moon in Aries, so emotionally you need independence. You have Mars in Capricorn, so you tend to be very pragmatic and structured. And you have Venus in Jupiter in Cancer right now. There is this pull, more emotional self, and maybe kind of trust and take a leap. And so that's the tension I'm talking about. And again, I think November is when things will potentially move forward. And you're saying in July he opened up. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, Julia, that's your question. I'm gonna move on to Jasmine. I hope this answered it. You're saying I lost my voice completely because I was shocked at how much he opened up and my anxiety went through the roof. Well, hopefully it's all good, right? Hopefully it's like good opening up. Jasmine, are you here? To know what important transits coming up I need to know about. Okay. You're welcome, Julia. Good luck. Do let us know if he pops the question soon. But it does look like there might be some kind of important transformation. Okay, Jasmine, is this you? Amazing. Mona, I don't know if I have time currently for one more. I'm a little bit pressed on time today. So if you don't mind sticking around and waiting, I don't want to say yes because like I have 4 more people and I'm trying to wrap up within an hour. So it's like, I don't want to say yes. Me, Julia says I'm breaking up a little bit. Mercury retrograde, be friendly. I should have lit up a Mercury candle. Okay, you guys hear me? Okay. Jasmine says yes. Julia says, I let you know he pops the. Okay, Jasmine, important. Saturn return is deeply important. Relationships, it encourages growth and is in opposition to your ascendant. There may be a lot of lessons coming through. And did I disappear again? Hi, Grace. Good to. Can you guys hear me? Please tell me that you can hear me, because previous time my internet broke for a second and then nobody could hear me. Please tell me that I'm still alive. I'm still YouTube. Celine says audio is breaking in and out. Yeah, I'm not sure. Jasmine says it's freezing up. Crystal says your frame is freezing up a lot. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do about this. Is it at all changing for the better, or it's all the same? Please, ladies, do let me know. I think I'm gonna try to get a little bit of Mercury magic and see if that helps at all, because that's not helpful. Oh, Jasmine says it's fine. Yay, it's fine. Okay. I'm just gonna do this real fast. And also, if you guys ever want a candle help, you know that I do that as well, because I have a moon in Gemini and I cannot just settle on doing one thing. Sorry. I'll be right back and focused. Patrice says I can hear you. Grace says raining here, so I'm surprised I can hear you. Okay, Jasmine. So Saturn return is a big deal. Karmic lessons in relationships. I think there you might meet karmic partner in an existing relationship. There may be some kind of challenge, opportunity to either grow through it or say no to a difficult romantic situation. While Saturn is stirring all this seriousness in relationships, right? It could be this important life period where you're committing to a relationship. Venus and Jupiter are bringing good luck in your professional sector, which is lovely, and aspecting harmoniously your natal ruler. So I really like that. And then there is also interesting transformations with your nodal opposition happening. So natally, you are born with South Node in Pisces, so a very intuitive, generous, kind of, almost like personality that used to serve other people. And with North Node in Virgo, you're actually learning how to take care of yourself and be more connected with your body, and almost like escape away from serving other people, escape into taking care of yourself, and maybe learning astrology, maybe, understanding yourself. If you want to learn astrology, my class begins next month. Definitely consider joining. And so the nodal opposition happens right around the time of your Saturn return, which actually is the reversal of that. So for one reason or another, there's a suggestion that you've maybe focused too much on being in your body and taking care of yourself, and like being sort of perfect, nitpicky, and analytical, that right now you're actually encouraged to go in the opposite direction and again connect with your need to serve other people, or like establish yourself professionally, and maybe take care of some underprivileged and like other people who need you. So that might be an interesting thing to consider. And I think I quite like I like Uranus in your ninth house. I think it could be eye-opening and maybe bring important revelations and discoveries. So those are important. Even Pluto in the fifth, to me, also suggests that there is some karmic kind of healing in your creative and romantic sector going. You're saying, I just broke off a long-term relationship, resentment, but I met someone, but I wasn't supposed to be serious. It wasn't supposed to be serious. X isn't taking it well, but I really need to stop enabling, including him. I'm really learning a lot about myself. Yeah, with Saturn in the seventh, there is often this situation where you attract relationships with people that are seemingly, you know, unavailable or cold or harsh or impossible, like really hard to connect with. But then there's also this big question of projection with Saturn in the seventh house of like, why are you choosing them, right? Because like in the seventh house planets are often perceived through other people, but it is your planet. So there is these like important lessons of like what happened in your childhood, right? Like with Saturn opposite Sun and Moon, the sun being in its fall in Libra, the father maybe being somehow like flawed, or the father not being like the perfect, I don't know, essentially maybe deserved. And maybe it's different. Maybe it's some other ways, right? But like there might be some sort of karmic entanglements and connections to the past and people you meet somehow reflecting that. So that's my take coming up for you. I hope that answers your question. So next we have Stephanie. Stephanie, if you're here, please share your information in the comment, or if you want it to be private, you can email me at Anastasia does. Oh, wait, I think I see your, oh, okay. Celine. That's, now I understand. Okay. So let's see. You are asking, I would like to ask if I should consider moving to live somewhere else, like in France with my extended family, or stay and renew the lease with my mother in San Diego, October. Karen, I see your donation. My list technically is closed, but I am going to add you to my list in case I have time. Just, I thought I pinned the comment. I hope I pinned the comment. Can you see that I closed my list? I'm adding you to it. If I don't get to you, I'll either refund your payment or I can also save you for another time. But yeah, the list is closed as of right now. So please ask me first, I guess, before sending me the money. I do appreciate the support and the donation and the consideration for, what I ask. So both are good, I guess. Considering is good. Okay, Celine. Sorry. Should you consider moving to live somewhere else, like in France, or stay and renew the lease in San Diego in October? I have decided on a new career path and want to be in an area that is more conductive. Okay, so this feels maybe a little bit like astrocartography type question. So I'm not going to share my screen because you asked for your information to be private, but I am going to look into it and answer it, because this is actually a really good opportunity to look at astrocartography, because you're actually giving me two places. And normally when I do these readings, I do ask people to kind of specify where they want to be. Of course, if it's a longer reading, we can look at more places, but for these, it's better to narrow it down. Okay, so putting your information in, give me a second. And if you could, Stephanie, just mention Moon and Rising. I mean, I'm not going to share your information, but Sun, Moon, and Rising, just so I know that I pulled the correct chart. So your question. So we have France or San Diego. And and the question is about which one is better for career. Do you mind sharing also what career path is that? Okay. And sorry if I keep flipping. Like, okay, the names. Hi, Monica. Yes, the list is closed, and I can definitely try to get to it next week. If I am doing a live next week, I am going to be in Europe next week, so I'm going to continue doing these. I just don't know yet when. Monica, will it be okay for like just save it for the next time I can do a reading? I'll probably do it. It's just I think it's going to be harder. Like I don't think I'll be doing it in this exact time because of the time difference. Okay. Celine, Gemini Sun, Taurus Moon, Leo Rising. Gemini Sun, Taurus Moon, Leo Rising. That is what I have. You're learning to become a therapist counselor. So just starting on the studying to become one. I'm studying on my own currently, but want to apply to get into a master's program and become licensed certified if I need to. Just want to be in a place that can provide a good environment to study. So you're actually looking more at a good environment to study versus professionally yet necessarily, right? Okay, so what's interesting is you being a Leo rising, when I move your chart to San Diego, California, you become Aries rising. And that means your sun goes in the 3rd house, and Aries is your natal 9th house of education. So bing, 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 bing. I don't know, 2 matches. So having San Diego be Aries rising, which is the 9th house, perfect for education. Also, maybe a place far away from home. So travel, foreign people, foreign connections. There is Saturn and Uranus in the 9th house, which might suggest that you're going there for a long term study, that you're committing to something long term. And the fact that the Sun, Venus, and Mercury all jump in the 3rd house also reads as it's a good place for learning, communicating, exploring ideas, and it's quite sort of fast-paced potentially. You guys, my list is closed. Mealy the Muse, you're saying you just donated. I don't think I see it. But please don't, because the list is closed and I will take people that have, unless Mealy, your name is Karen, then I added you to my list. But yes, the list is officially closed as of right now. You are Karen. Okay. Okay, in that case, I'll get to you, but new people, hold off until I do this another time. So Celine, this is what I think. I think San Diego is better. Is this what it feels like for you intuitively? And Patrice is next on the list. So Patrice, please share your information if you don't mind it being public. I'd love if you can put it in the comments. If you want it to be private, please email me at anastasia.astrology@gmail.com. And for anyone who wants like a full-size reading ever, you can book it on my website. Patrice, you send me an email. I don't know if I see your email. If you don't mind it being public, could you just copy paste it in the comments? Celine says, thank you. I figured I might just have to be patient and continue to work diligently. Yeah, it does seem like, it seems like San Diego could be a really good, conducive environment for you learning. Okay, Patrice, I think something happened with your email. So I don't see it. If you could share your information again. You're saying my Celine says, my circumstances in San Diego aren't the most comfortable. Huh. Okay. But in France, you also have Pluto in the fourth house of home, family, and living situation. So I don't know if you feel completely at ease in your hometown in France. So it also doesn't need to be specifically San Diego. It could be a city that's maybe close to San Diego in the same time zone that perhaps is more comfortable for you. If you want like a fuller analysis, I would ask you to book a reading so we can take a better look. And Patrice, please share your information again. Because I did not get an email. Or somehow it got lost. Mercury is retrograde, you know. Okay, Patrice, I see your information. And what is the question? Happy belated birthday also. Yeah, I can't find it. So if you could just copy paste and put it in the comments, that would be helpful, Patrice. Okay, I'm looking up the place of birth. For some reason, it doesn't pop up right away. Oh, there is an extra S in there that doesn't need to be there. Okay. No. Okay, wait. I will find it. Kingston, Jamaica. There it is. Yeah, I just copy pasted it and there was an extra S. So you're saying I've been working on aligning my life and career with my soul's path and I'm considering a relocation. Okay, tell me more. Are you basically just curious to know about like a location that's more aligned with your soul's path? Path? Path. TH sounds are difficult sometimes. Um, okay, you're saying I'd love your insight. If now is the most aligned time to move to Dallas or Austin, Texas. I found it. I found the birth sound. It was just there's no S after kin. It's supposed to be Kingston. And I think it was just there's just like a typo in there. That's why I couldn't find it. Because I just copy pasted it. Okay. So if now is the most aligned time to move to Dallas or Austin, Texas, and what transits is coming up for me? Are there any health or karmic patterns or North Node return themes showing up right now that I should pay attention to in order to move forward in alignment? Okay, so first of all, let me look at what's happening in Austin, Texas. Are Austin and Dallas, Texas pretty much in the same time zone? I think they must be, right? Okay, you're saying they are. So you're wondering if now is the most aligned time to move. Um, so what I have for you is Cancer Sun, Leo Moon, Aquarius rising. Is that correct? Okay, so you're wondering if now is the good time to move. It is your nodal return. What was happening the last time your nodal return happened in 2006, 2007? Do you remember? Because that would give you some answers on like return was you moving, then it's potentially a good time to move now as well. What does no not at all mean? As in like you don't remember, you did not move. So yeah, the nodal return last time was 2006, 2007. So it's interesting to look back to think how maybe that period was similar to the period we're in right now. Is now a good time to move with Saturn and Neptune in your third house? It doesn't immediately look like a really good time to move, but you do have Jupiter and Venus in your sixth house, and Jupiter and Venus are going to conjoin. And so any kind of like hard thing that is required of you right now is more likely to be blessed, but that's potentially more like, well, you know, this is happening in mid-August. You don't remember what happened the last nodal return, but think back on it, you know, like both the first one in 1988, 89, and the second in 2006, 2007. I feel like Saturn and Neptune are currently making things more complicated for you. It, you know, it doesn't mean that it's impossible to move, but I think like if the third house is your neighborhood and your environment and how you kind of move around your neighborhood and around your day, Saturn and Neptune are either maybe they're actually highlighting the fact that you don't like where you live and encouraging you to move. But there might be, it feels like there might be some delays too because of the, like Mars is about to go into your ninth house of travel and it's going to oppose Saturn and oppose Neptune. So it's like, it feels like there is some kind of obstacle that you have to overcome. And maybe later, maybe by September is when it might be easier for you to move. And then you're asking about karmic patterns, about your nodal return themes showing up right now. So you're born with South Node in Virgo, North Node in Pisces, and it is your nodal return. So again, I would urge you to look at those dates that I gave you, 98, first half of 99, 2006, 2007, to see what themes were coming up for you back then. But the general theme of your chart is that you're moving away from being entangled with other people and being kind of this service person to them, right? South Node in Virgo. Both Virgo and Pisces are the signs of service, but Pisces is more about spiritual service and spiritual alignment, and Virgo is about physical service. So having South Node in the eighth could be taking care of other people as a doctor, or taking care of other people financially because you're just good at sort of being financially maybe like savvy, or you just find yourself in a position of helping other people. And with North Node and Pisces right now, you're more in this period of like making choices for yourself, I think, and following your dreams and like disengaging from worrying about other people and worrying about things being perfect. So what can you do to get more in alignment with this North Node? I wonder if there are any like spiritual practices that maybe you don't have in your life that you can include. like tarot cards, or using a pendulum to sort of ask yes or no questions. And like, even with the move, it's not impossible, but I feel like it's something that if you're thinking of really immediately, it might be something that will happen like in the second, like in the middle of September is when I'm thinking it might become more open to you, because that's around the time when like Mars will be conjoining your Jupiter in the ninth house and Venus will be in the seventh house. So yeah, but I think in terms of like what can be helpful is adding more spiritual practices. And you're also asking about health. Things are actually pretty good for health right now with Jupiter in your sixth house. um does Dallas look like a good place? Just real quick, because I do want to move on. I don't have a ton of time. You can always book a reading if you wanted to ask more additional questions. But what does Dallas look like? So this is Austin, but I assume Dallas is going to look quite similarly. It puts your ascendant into Capricorn. It puts your sun in the seventh house of relationships. Jupiter in the 10th house. Mm, your north node is in the third. So if we're talking about spirituality, it could be a good place to maybe like open your business or open some kind of like spiritual shop. I don't love Mars in the seventh house of relationships, and I don't love that the ascendant falls in your 12th natal house, which could be a suggestion that this place is more like, I mean, it could be good for spiritual work, but it could also be a place in which you're facing a lot of demons. So maybe it's not. I would recommend traveling there to see whether you like it or not. But it looks like a mixed bag. It doesn't look like the perfect place for you to move to, I don't think, unless you've lived there and you've experienced it. I don't love particularly like putting the ascendant in the 12th. Like I said again, it could be a good place for like exercising your demons, like getting rid of the demons, or doing spiritual work or shamanic work or healing, or even like writing imagination type of work. But it might also be a place in which you feel more isolated than um maybe you chose to be more isolated, but it doesn't look like particularly like so much joy. um yeah, that's kind of what I think. It looks more complicated in there. Crystal, are you still here? And if you could share your question and your information again. And then Karen. Okay, Crystal, I see your information. I don't see your time of birth. Do you know your time of birth, Crystal? And Patrice, I hope this answered your question. I mean, yeah, I hope it answers your questions. And Crystal, I also appreciate from the question about your mom, because I really feel like it's not I would be able to answer. Maybe there's some astrologers that will tell you that they can. I feel like it's maybe like a horary chart. So maybe people who do a lot of horary readings can do that. Oh, Crystal, you say I don't know what time of birth was. Okay, we can do it without the time. There's maybe some things that I won't be able to tell, but I think we'll figure it out potentially. So you said April 6th, 85, Vancouver, Canada, right? Okay. So I put 6 a.m. just because it asks me to put something, but we're going to assume that we do not know your birth time. So some of the houses will not be accurate, but we can still look. Your question was like, what are some important dates for the next few months, I think, right? Crystal, is that what you wanted to know? The important energies coming up? So Saturn, okay, you're saying yes. So Saturn has entered Aries, and this is the repeat of the transit from 96 into 99. So if you remember what was happening in your life in 90, do let us know, because there's going to be potential repeat of the themes. Obviously, it's not going to be the same because you're, you know, 30 years older than you were back then, but there might be some kind of you're saying I might be between 2 a.m. and it's still a pretty big range. So um, oh no, it's telling me that my connection is unstable again. Can you hear me? Did I disappear? Okay, you're saying just thinking that right now it popped into my head. Yes, I'm curious about 96, 99. I mean, you would have been 11, 12, 13. Was there any pressures, any maybe issues with your father, any a sense of responsibility in your life that showed up around then? Because with Saturn coming back into Aries and you being an Aries sun, there's going to be potentially some of that um, somehow similar energy. You're probably going to start feeling it in 2026. The first time Saturn conjoins your Mercury is in May 2026 and your Venus in June 2026. So May, June look pretty interesting. But that's next year, right? But that might suggest that there is some kind of heavy thinking, important decisions, relationship commitment, or pressures in relationship. You're also beginning your Neptune square next year, which is another one of those like kind of midlife crisis type of transits where a lot of things come to the surface, and you're realizing you've been moving away from your dreams, and so important decisions. um what else? What else? Pluto is squaring your moon, but I don't want to talk about that because we need your exact birth time to be more specific with it. But yeah, I would look back at 96 into 99 and think of like what was happening in the family. Were there any increased responsibilities? Or energies might be back around, and based on handle it differently this time. In terms of the more like immediate things that are coming up for you, I think there is currently a sense of doing a lot of things. Like you might be really busy and lots going on. And there might be tension between desire for independence and perhaps what the universe is offering you. Like there might be a relationship development that actually encourages you to commit and to be in a stable relationship. And so there may be some like important changes in that regard. In October, you have a Saturn trine. And then again in January 2026, which could be about recognition, working on something since March 2023. This would be a potential like completion and some kind of reward when it comes to that. But yeah, I think I'm seeing some kind of pressures potentially around your family. Um, and that would depend on the time you were born, of course, but maybe some kind of increased responsibility and opportunities to especially with Saturn and Aries and you having 3 planets in Aries, there may be some type of like a chance to clarify who you are, what you want, and like maybe discover yourself, discover your independence in connection with other people. Crystal, I hope you can still hear me. I hope this resonates. That's kind of the closest energy that I am seeing. Karen, are you here? Are you here? Can you hear me? Are we still? Crystal says, I can hear you. The question is there a delay or is it real time? Okay, Karen is here. Thank you guys. Thank you for confirming that you can hear me. Real time. Okay, good. But how would you know if it's real time? I guess you would know because maybe you'll hear me responding now or a little later. Okay, Karen is the one closing today's list, so I can go and start packing. Woohoo! But let's give Karen her time and her attention that she deserves. And for everyone who's watching, you guys probably heard me say it already. You can always book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can also register for my natal astrology course. It is about a month away, begins on September 6th, and it will last 3 months. We'll be meeting twice a week. So it's a serious commitment for those of you who are interested in astrology, ready to take it to the next level. Do consider making that commitment because it is a commitment to yourself. It's like, I know it takes a lot of time and it requires a lot of attention from you, but my aim is to explain things in an understandable way, make astrology easy to understand as much as it's possible, right? And easy for you to use. Okay, Karen Franklin, PA. Karen, what is your question? I don't know if you shared that yet. Please let me know. You're saying, I'm curious about what I should be focusing on at this point in my life. That's a good question. Let's see. Let's see. Are you a Scorpio sun, Aquarius moon, Sagittarius rising? Is this you, the powerful 12th house stellium lady? It is. Are you living abroad? Are you living away from where you were born? Because your chart is basically screaming moving abroad or moving to a faraway place. So I actually really like that Jupiter is in Cancer. I think it's going to one by one aspect all of your Scorpio planets, including right now. It's actually trining your sun, the ruler of your 9th house of education, travel, astrology, spirituality. And look at that. You're looking at your chart, asking questions. So it's interesting, right? Jupiter. So you're saying you moved to Tennessee when you were 17. That counts. So it's interesting. Where in Tennessee are you? I am tempted to look at your relocated chart for Tennessee to see how it changes. Nashville, near Nashville. Because I wonder if your ascendant changes at all. No, not by much, but still far further away from home. Oh, you guys be careful this week with Mars opposite Saturn. Don't move fast, because today I was trying to do a headstand from a position that I haven't done before, and I ended up falling on my elbow and on my bum, and both of them hurt right now. So follow my example. Don't follow my example, and be sort of good at, don't basically, move slowly. Okay. So, Karen, so you are a Sagittarius rising ruled by Jupiter in the 12th house. Your 12th house stellium definitely suggests that you are someone who early in life maybe had to face a lot of obstacles, a lot of challenges, right? And as you get older, you find your confidence. You probably need to spend a lot of time alone, or you discover yourself when you spend time alone. Like, you recharge by being alone, even though your moon is in this social third house. So you kind of have the moon in its joy in the third house, which means you could be very friendly, very social, very good at getting along with people. But like your sun suggests that you kind of recharge your battery, I guess, in solitude is what it is. And so your chart ruler is currently in your 8th house, which is about finances. It is about investment. So it could be encouraging you to make an investment into something. It could be into education or travel, go abroad, right? With the sun here, and with Jupiter trining your sun, and the sun ruling your 9th house of travel education. Maybe it's encouraging you to invest into astrology and study with me. But it's basically about like investments and values, and there might be important developments in the finances of people in your life right now, and there might be more gifts, there might be more support that's coming from other people your way. A friend offers you a connection, a job opportunity, invites you on a trip with them, all expenses paid, right? There might be some kind of positive developments here. And also, I think opportunities to like heal old wounds, because 8th house is the house of death and rebirth. And sometimes Jupiter here also even brings an inheritance to you or to your significant other. But it's about healing, and it's about blessings to finances, and it's about discovering that there's more to relationships and to your life that meets the eye, which you probably already know with 5 planets in the 12th house. But so right now it's trining your sun. And so, like I said, this feels as more blessings that involve education, travel, maybe, like I said, something good in terms of your somebody inviting you on a trip. So this is exact tomorrow, but basically it's already in effect. And then your Jupiter will trine your natal Jupiter, your natal chart ruler. So this could be good for your sense of self. And Jupiter rules your house of home, family, living situation. So maybe mortgage, maybe investments, maybe something good happening from coming to you from family. Maybe opportunities to move and relocate. It's all sort of repeating similar things. And then Jupiter will trine your Mercury on September 3rd, January 22nd, April 27th. And Mercury rules your house of relationships and your house of career. So that's another kind of positive development to relationships and your professional life. Yeah, Jupiter is deeply supportive. And then it trines your Venus on January 8th, September 15th, January 8th, and May 10th. And that is always good for love and money. And Venus rules your 6th house of work, health, and service, and 11th house of friendships. So it's like, I feel like the message here is that you're really supported by people in your life. And so lean on their support and trust them when they're coming to help you. Because maybe I feel like Scorpios are deeply aware of death and rebirth and endings, and they might be not always super trusting of people. And then Saturn is currently in your 5th house, so it could be bringing up kind of karmic questions when it comes to children and romance and pleasure, even questions around sex and joy. Sometimes Saturn comes here. It entered on May 24th, and it's going to leave on September 1st to come back in February for 2 more years. Sometimes it brings up, it sort of kills the fun for the time being. It makes things a little bit more serious and heavy. But it's here for you to take responsibility for how you have fun, how you deal with relationships, how you handle maybe even conflict, because Saturn will be opposing your Mars. Yeah, some important relationship questions, and even maybe some like serious situations in the lives of children can be coming up. Like children going through some kind of growth and transformations in their life. Oh, and of course, Pluto has been also conjoining your moon, but I think it's done by now. But I wonder with Pluto conjunct your moon if there was any challenging relationships, challenging developments in the life of your mom, or challenges in the home, in the family, connected to your living situation. Maybe even somebody died in the family, like in the last couple of years. Maybe this year is about healing. Maybe it's about healing, like whatever challenging things happened, because there was a lot of, there was a lot of kind of Mars retrograded in your 8th house, maybe battling for inheritance or some kind of resources or something like that. But trust in the helpful energy of Jupiter. Trust that he came to soften the blow, to soothe your heart, to remind you that there are people around you that are worth trusting and depending on, and also maybe that the universe supports you. Your mom lived with you and just moved back to PA. It was triggering having her here. Okay. I'm glad that everyone is alive and she just moved away. But yeah, that makes sense. Like with Pluto on the moon, some kind of family dynamics that are difficult, and Saturn being in your 4th house of home and family since 2023 definitely could suggest that the obligations and responsibility to family feel extra heavy, like a noose on your neck potentially. But I think that's it. I think that's kind of what I'm seeing for you guys. I hope that was helpful, Karen. One sort of caveat with Jupiter in the 8th, sometimes it also means that your taxes are high, and that you're going to end up, like, if you make more, if you're somehow benefited from something, let's say you get like an inheritance, that there might be higher taxes. Or with any sort of gains, Jupiter might also make you pay a little bit more. So it like brings you things, but also means that you may be spending more or something like that. You're welcome. I'm glad that this was helpful. And thank you for your donation and for your support. I will be doing lives while I'm abroad, but maybe not as regularly and not as structured as every Monday. But I will definitely see them on my page. And thank you for your support. I will see you guys very soon. Bye, everyone.